What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. We are going to be taking a look at how I tore apart my Blackmagic Cinema camera and rebuilt it in a 3D printed body. It was crazy and it took like 2 years. So we'll hopefully make this a lot faster for you if you want to try to do it. So stick around. Alright, so first thing you're going to need to do is take your Blackmagic Cinema camera and open it up. The biggest thing you need to remember is, so you take the rubber part on the front of the camera. There's like a rubber mat that you just rip out, and then you have 4 screws that you just need to remove. Once you remove those, you just need to be very gentle when you disattach the monitor part with the bezel off of the camera body. Basically just lift it up a little bit, and then you'll have to disattach some of these cables that are attached to it, so that you don't pull anything and rip any of the flex cables and things like that. Once you have your board and you finally got it out and you got all your pieces laid out before you and you're ready to jump on to the next thing, I think it's important that you take some measurements. I'm going to put up some measurements on the screen of the board itself. It's important to know exactly where these 4 holes are on the PCB. You'll need to be designing this board in 3D, and you'll need to basically recreate a rough version of this PCB with the right dimensions so that these holes all line up correctly, so it can all be attached to your camera body later on. The same goes with the sensor. The sensor has four holes in the front of it. They will attach to your new camera, so your new camera body. So you'll also need to make some measurements and figure those out as well. Another thing to think about is the orientation of how you want to build this. Like, how do you want it to be? Like, I have it like this. If you want it to look just like mine, it's pretty simple. But if you want to do something cool and new and different, then it's important to kind of start thinking about that and making some rough drafts in your head and drawings of how you want it to look like. There's going to be 3 basic components. There's going to be this main PCB board, there's going to be the main sensor of the camera, and then there's going to be the LCD with the menu system on it. So those 3 parts make up the whole camera. So depending on where you want them to be, you'll need to extend these cables when you pull them out. Most of the cables are actually attached to the LCD and the menu button. So you'll want to get extra flex cables. These are called flex cable, and they are very, very common. And you can get them in all variety of sizes. The original cable that came with it obviously is too short. And so I needed to get 2 components that I'll pop up on the screen right here. And everything is obviously on the description below, so check it out to get a description for everything that I'm doing. So, with a link to buy. And then, once you buy all these little components that you'll need, and then also extend all of these different buttons. There's different buttons and connectors here. They'll all need to be in some way cut, and then you'll need to kind of make those wires longer. So it would be easier if you get someone who knows how to solder, who can help you, and who knows electronics, so you don't screw things up and don't plug things in while you're doing this kind of stuff. Just make sure you have no power for anything. Again, this took me 2 years. I'm not an electrical engineer. I don't know a ton about electricity. Well, I do know now, and I've learned a lot, but it came at some heavy prices too. So be aware. I don't want you to screw everything up in your camera, but this was a risky project that I did, and I'm glad it turned out okay, but just FYI. I'm going to include my design for download, so you can download my 3D model if you want to just print that and just run with it. This big, huge connector here, that's where the sensor attaches to this PCB. So it hooks in right here. The sensor goes to this big connector here. It's a 120 pin connector divided by two rows of 60 pins. And ultimately, I figured out you cannot buy it. This is kind of the silly, funny part of this video where I hope I don't get in trouble, but you can't actually buy this cable because the company that sells this cable doesn't sell to consumers. They sell by the bulk, like a ton of cables. They make really high-end, robust cable for industry stuff. And so, but after spending many hours on the phone and on chats and sending lots of pictures to engineers and stuff, I finally figured out the cable I needed. And what somebody suggested I do was just go to this site, and I'll have the link to the site. It's called samtech.com, I think. Incredible site. And they have a really awesome system, and I didn't want to take advantage of it. I just didn't know how else to get it. And so if I could have paid for it, I would have. But basically, I just made an account like I was a company, and I requested a free sample, and they overnighted it to me. So it was incredible. So I got several of these overnighted to me by this company, and it was just amazing. But that's the only way I was able to get this cable. I don't know how else to do it. So you'll probably have to do the same thing I did until they come up with some way for you to just be able to buy it, which I highly doubt they will. So
here it is. It's actually working. I'm so happy because I don't know if you noticed, but the sensor is not attached to the board anymore. It's attached to a 9-inch high-speed ERC. It's some crazy name. Anyways, I took a long time for me to get this cable. It's not a cable you can just buy. So it took a lot of research and talking to a lot of companies, and they were nice enough to help me out. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. This basically proves that the concept will work for me to extend it away from the PCB board.
once you get that cable and you have your sensor and you have kind of idea of what you want to do, I would try to build a like metal version. I built one out of metal with aluminum parts. They're like little hobby parts that you can buy at the store, and just to give me an idea of what I wanted to do and how I wanted the components to be inside of the camera. So I would recommend you kind of playing around with different ideas. If you just want to download my copy, you can. I'll include a BOM, which is the bill of materials that you'll need. There's some special screws that we have that we use. There's also we have spaces so that you can properly mount, your standard screws for tripods and all that stuff. So unlike my version, use the bracket that's in the Blackmagic Cinema camera that has a label for all of these components. It's a really nice little black bracket that matches onto here. You could totally find a way to maybe redesign or even adjust my model and incorporate that in here. Unfortunately, I don't have any of my components sticking out of the back, which I wanted to do that, but I just didn't have the means, and I was tired of this thing and I wanted to finish it, and unfortunately didn't get that part done. But I think it would be really nice if you could, if you wanted to. That would be a smart thing to do. If I can like shrink this project time for you from the 2 years it took me to like 6 months for you, that'd be amazing. Or like 3 months, or who knows. I think that'd be the goal. So with all that in mind, if you're up for the adventure, I think you should totally try it. And let me know what you think. I'd love to see if anybody does this. I mean, this is the only one in the world that I know of. The Blackmagic Cinema camera rebuilt. And keep in mind, this was before the Ursa Mini came out. When I built this camera, the Ursa came out, and I was like, holy crap. And so in my mind, it was kind of cool, and it reinforced the fact that whatever I was thinking of was kind of in line with what they were thinking about and making the camera better. And so, and it wasn't until later the Ursa Mini came out, and this thing looks it looks so similar to that. So it's funny, but yeah. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's a pretty rough step by step. You'll really need to just get your hands dirty and start doing it if you're serious about this. But thank you so much, and I got a phone call. Okay, so that is how I rebuilt the Blackmagic Cinema camera, and I hope you liked it. I hope you do it. So if you really want to do this, and you still have some more questions, you can always hit me up. Just hit me up on my channel, some comments. I'm going to try to go through all the comments and help anybody out if you get stuck with anything. And I'd love to see it. Love to see some designs. If anybody wants to do some designs. I know that this camera's old and like people are like, who gives a crap about this? So, but you know what? I mean, I should have done this video a long time ago, and I'm doing it now. So I'm happy with it. So let me know what you think. Give a thumbs up, subscribe if you like, and I will catch you in the next video. See you later. Bye.